In business, IMF endorses one cedi levy as key to fiscal recovery. And elsewhere, Israel launches attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. We've got details of this and more shortly. So thank you so much for joining us here. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and we start from the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice, because the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayene, is delivering what is expected to be a major update on the progress of Operation Recover or Loot Oral at the Information Services Department. Let's cross over to our man on the grounds, Mutala Enusa, to give us some updates on what the Attorney General has been talking about so far. Mutala, so talk to me. What really has he been espousing in terms of the update on Oral? All right, so let's get some updates on the Attorney General's address this afternoon. Mutala Enusa is our man there. He's joining us to tell us more. Mutala, if you can hear me now, really, what has the Attorney General been talking about so far?
Well, Joshua, first thing that the AG indicated is that this very press conference will focus on the National Service Authority scheme, the scheme that investigations has led to some misappropriation of funds, some ghost names having uncovered. And so it is based on this premise that he has been giving some details in respect of some within some year period. And Joshua, let me just walk you through some of the things that the Attorney General has been saying so far. Dr. Dominic Ayene, he made mention to the fact that investigation has revealed that criminal enterprises through some network covered the entire country, and it was spread across the entire country. That particular enterprise was run by some top-level executives of the National Service Authority and their accomplices in the private sector, known through some vendors or some service providers. The AG went ahead to say that as a result of that, funds have been siphoned huge sums of money, and as we speak, a total of sum of 548,333,542 Ghana cedis have so far been lost by the state through the criminal enterprise. And
right.
Joshua, the AT has been giving
very well. Mutala, we understand. Mutala, so yes, these are the things he's talked about so far, but let's cross over and get to understand what he's saying currently. Let's cross over to the ISD.
Of 9,934 ghost names to misappropriate the aforementioned funds. Investigation further established that as the ADB transferred the funds into the account of the company, she subsequently transferred the funds into 4 different company accounts with the names of Amiacom, Fiscal, Kodjo, and Aristo Logistics and Trading. It was further established that Suspect Gifty is the director of Amiacom and Fiscal Company Limited belongs to Suspect Abraham Gifty. That between 3rd March 2023 and 24th May 2024, Suspect Gifty transferred 22,925,518 Ghana cedis and 69 pesos to Amiacom, 1 million Ghana cedis to Scaffold, 1,572,000 Ghana cedis to Kodjo, and 5,200,000 Ghana cedis to Aristo Logistics and Trading. We have this on record. We have all the bank details, we have everything in the docket. Investigations, however, established that Erediapo, from 2017 until April 2024, and Idrisu Ibn Abubakar, April 2024 to December 2024, were responsible for preparing and transmitting NSP payroll data to GIPS for payment of allowances with the approval of the former NSA Director General, Mustafa Yusuf, who is now an MP, Gifty Owari Agwadi, acting from February 2021 to September 2021, and Hotel today September 2021 to January 2025. Without their explicit authority, nothing was possible. In other words, all these transfers could not have taken place without the authorization of the Chief Executive Officer and or the Director General, depending on the nomenclature that was used to describe their role. In the 2022-2023 service year, a total of 8,256,000 Ghana cedis was deposited into an Eastwich account number 1177042059, which is registered in the name of suspect Jose Asibe. Investigations show that he personally received these funds. During a search at his residence, the aforementioned Eastwich card was found, and we intend to tender it in evidence during the course. A vendor in the marketplace received a total of 21,306,272 Ghana cedis and 43 checks into his account from 2017 to 2024. Suspect Rose Hamilton of Marine Ventures received a total of 50,750,923 Ghana cedis, 15 pesos into her account from 2017 to 2024. Suspect Isaac Atamani of Auction Buy Ventures received a total of 11,458,686 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos into his account from 2027 to 2024. A total payment of 166,554,398 cedis and 50 pesos was made into the account of a savings and loan company, a savings and loan entity between 2019 and 2024. Suspect Sylvia Opari of Silsona, the names of the companies are very interesting. Silsona Ventures received a total payment of 10,746,634 Ghana cedis and 41 pesos into her account from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Jacob Yosin of Inyasapo Ventures received a total payment of 19,199,638 Ghana cedis and 57 pesos into his account from 2021 to 2024. Suspects Philomena Atta and Saving Covenant JP of Brainwave Ventures received a total of 17,646,523 Ghana cedis and 80 pesos into their account from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Solomon Jomina of Alpha Lita Ventures received a total payment of 19 cedis and 67 pesos into his account from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Charles Aymin of GHOne Ventures received a total payment of 40,235,118 Ghana cedis and 14 pesos into his account from 2022 to 2024. Suspect Kodjo Opare Agopa and Prince Agopa Awoku of Fralisa Ventures received a total payment of 9,011,164 and 35 Ghana cedis into their account from 2023 to 2024. However, none of the aforementioned vendors provided evidence to the investigative team or to myself to prove that the amount of money they received corresponded to the items supplied or the loans supposedly made to the National Service personnel. Ladies and gentlemen of the media and my fellow countrymen and women, having concluded our investigations, we will be filing charges against 12 suspects who work as directors and staff of the NSA. I've already listed them, but for the abundance of doubt, let me mention them again. These are Mustafa Yusuf, a former executive director, Osea Sidenchi, former director general, Gifty Owari Mensah, former deputy executive director, Pedu Ohinijan, former deputy executive director for operations, Abraham Bismarck, former internal auditor, Peku Dechi Eje, an accounts officer, Idrusu Ibn Abubakar, former head of accounts, Stephen Kobina JP, who is we've asked that he should be arrested because we discovered some new accounts that contain some deposits, and so he was picked up this morning. So he is currently he's undergoing further interrogation. He's the Kokoridua director. Then Prince Agopa Ewuku, a district director, and Joseph Yosin, management information systems administrator in the northern region. We will also file charges against the following persons who are vendors on the marketplace on the central management system of the NSA in the eastern, Greater Accra, and Ashanti regions. Isaac Osei Asamani, the owner of Solwa Auction Buying Ventures. Charles Ohomini, the owner of GHOne Ventures. Philomena Atta, the owner of Brainwave Ventures. Rose Hamilton, the owner of Marine Ventures. Kodjo Opare Agopa, the owner of Franlisa Ventures. Solomon Jamina, the owner of Alpharita Ventures. Haruna Maulaya, the owner of Alphaida Enterprise. Sylvia Ntrewa Opare, the owner of Sensona Ventures. And then Peter Mensah, a legal practitioner and the husband of Mensah. We have made the decision to enter into non-prosecution agreements with some of the persons who were involved in this criminal enterprise, especially the vendors, and these have agreed to provide compelling testimonies as witnesses for the prosecution. In this regard, we have agreed not to disclose their names or their details at this press meeting as part of the NPA, that is the non-prosecution agreement. Because this is going to inure to the efficiency of the prosecutions that will be mounted. And in every prosecutorial discretion, decision making, we have the discretion to take decisions that will inure to the benefit of the Republic. And we have decided in the office, together with the investigators, that some of the marketplace vendors and some other directors and staff who came to us may be serving as prosecution witnesses. Some of them offered to be prosecution witnesses, and we rejected their offer. They came, met with my deputy. We evaluated the evidence and thought that it would be inimical to the entire prosecutorial enterprise if we accepted their offers to serve as prosecution witnesses. So, given the numbers that were offering to serve as witnesses, it can tell you where we are headed with this investigation. And when the trial starts, with this prosecution, when the trial starts, you will get to know the evidence that we have meticulously gathered from February, when I took over the oral report and handed them over to NIB to the president. Having provided this factual background, our position is clear that these persons are reasonably suspected to have committed crimes and shall be charged accordingly with the following crimes: stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. Conspiracy to steal, contrary to section 23.1 and 124.1 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Willfully causing financial loss to the state, contrary to section 179A3A of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Using public office for profit, contrary to section 179CA of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Obtaining public property by false statements, contrary to section 5 of the Public Property Protection Decree 1977 SMCD 140. Money laundering, contrary to section 1 subsection 2C of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 at 1044, and conspiracy to commit money laundering, contrary to section 3 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 at 1020. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the oral agenda, I have ordered that a comprehensive investigation of the assets of these persons be conducted. That investigation is,
and we shall be pursuing the suspect to retrieve funds attributable to them and assets they have acquired using those funds. So I want to thank you very much once again for covering this press conference. God bless you.
Is now open for some questions from members of the media. So as we do it, if you have a question, please put your hand up. I'll call you. You come forward, ask it, and then it will be answered. Each person is entitled to only one question in the interest of time. Alfred, I thought I saw your hand up. Please come. So if you have a question, just come forward and ask it, please. So this way, yeah. Please come. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Alfred Okanse. I work with Media GHOne, TV3,
I need
3
to step
FM.
forward so that the
Okay.
press can capture you. Yeah.
First off, you earlier mentioned at the previous conference that there was a member of parliament who was contracted to, as it were, kill the story of this NSS scandal in the media. Any updates on that said member of parliament? Because I didn't hear anything in this updates that you gave. And the second one is that I get the point that you have put together all of these persons as well. Any indication of when prosecution will start? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alfred. There was a second gentleman. Yes, please go ahead. Please step forward.
All right. My name is Job Kwabena Laboja. I work with the Tobinco Media Group, Bullet TV. Alfred asked my first question, which has to do with when are we going to see them being charged. And my concern is the mode of operation by the current Attorney General, which is your office. Many have argued that why come out to tell us all this when you can just go to court and then come and tell us what they have been charged with, and then we can all have confidence that we are really committed to dealing with this matter. That if you can respond to that for us, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions, please? All right, please step forward. Anybody who has a question. In the interest of time, we need to manage it.
Thank you very much. My name is Mutala Inusa. I work with the IB Network, GHOne TV, and Star FM. Honorable, my question is in respect of those suspects that you decided to accept their proposals and those that you do not accept. What specific criteria goes into whose offer do you accept and whose offer do you reject? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Joyce Danso. I write for the Ghana News Agency. I want the Attorney General to educate us on what exactly is non-prosecution agreement and then plea bargaining agreement. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Please go ahead. Ask him.
Thank you for your brilliant presentation. To be very honest, if I knew you were going to talk about this program, a national service, I wouldn't have struggled all the way from Committee 25 to this place. But I came here purposely because of what was published on Aura. Because we have, as an organization, made a petition to Aura and written a letter to you. My name is Solomon.
Excuse me, sir. If it is not related to national service, I would ask you to hold on. After this session, the Attorney General will grant you audience to listen to the specific petition that you have so that we can use the time judiciously. Thank you very much. So you may resume your seats.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take one last person in this round, after which the Attorney General will provide answers. Please help me.
Thank you very much. My name is Jude Duncan from City FM Channel 1 TV. In February this year, the President mentioned that the assets of suspects in the national service scandal had been frozen. In this very press briefing, you mentioned that their assets will be, sort of monitored. Your conclusion. I want updates as to whether indeed their assets have been frozen or whether you are still just, monitoring their financial flow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the Attorney General will answer these questions.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your very
the member of parliament who was, in the center of the investigation. There are
question in relation to the member of parliament who was, in the center of the investigation. There are two members of parliament who were investigated in this scandal. One was a former chief executive officer, that is the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. And so in his case, we basically had the evidence, relating to actions that he had taken as the executive officer, and then we interrogated him. In the case of the famous A+, the investigation is still ongoing, and there are talks with him with respect to the role that he will play, either in respect of providing evidence against those who try to do what is alleged to have been done, or if at the end of the day no agreement is reached, then maybe he will have to stand trial. That is where we are with respect. So the investigations are ongoing. We haven't concluded with him yet. The investigators were supposed to go to Parliament and do the interrogation in Parliament. And at the last time that they made a request, they could not do the interrogation. Now, in terms of the timing of prosecution, there have been a number of developments that came in very late. So as late as yesterday in the evening, we met in the office with one of the principal actors who is offering, to provide us with evidence. In other words, the person wants a non-prosecution, agreement. So we've asked that the lawyer she should go, and she and the lawyers should go and then bring the proposal for us to examine and then see what what can be done. Okay, so we are thinking that in the next 2 weeks we will be able to evaluate all of those proposals, including the fact that suspect James was rearrested. We'll have to look into the additional accounts, and then in the next 2 weeks we can deal with all those issues, and by the first week of July we should be filing charges against them. Now, someone asked, why the press briefing? This is a perennial question that I get all the time. The detractors of oral, that is those who do not want or are not enamored of the oral agenda, would usually say that this is persecution, a persecution of the suspects in the media, or prosecution of the suspects in the media. Now, the United States of America is one of the world's oldest democracy. Okay, and U.S. prosecutors, district attorneys, or even the Attorney General of the United States of America, when they conclude investigations, they brief the press on their findings. Sometimes they file the charges and come out of the courtroom to brief the press on the charges that have been filed. There is nothing absolutely wrong with this. So those who think that accounting to the people, if you look at the meaning of the word accountability simply means to explain one's actions. And so we have a duty to account to the people of this country. And so when I'm taking prosecutorial decisions, I need to account to the people of our country for the decisions that I take. So this is the whole essence of the exercise, and especially within the context of oral. We don't want any situation where we file charges and then we are being told that we have just decided to persecute people because of their political leanings. In all the press briefings that I have done, I have not mentioned or connected any political party to the actions of the people that I arrest and investigate. Okay, so the idea of doing this is not in order to make any political party look bad or any faction in our Ghanaian politics look bad. What we are doing is simply to account to the people of this country, and it doesn't matter how many times it is said. I will continue to account to the people of this country through the press briefings that the press engagements that we do from time to time. Then, what are the criteria for an NPA? And then somebody asked, what is the difference between an NPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement, and a plea bargain? A non-prosecution agreement is an aspect of the plea bargain. A plea bargain is simply a negotiation between the prosecutor and a person suspected of the commission of a crime, okay, that may turn out to achieve a number of objectives. Okay, so sometimes you drop the charges in exchange for the payment of a fine or a penalty. Sometimes you drop the charges so that that person will serve as a witness, and because the person was proximate to the commission of the crime, they will have information that is compelling enough to prove your charges for you. All right, so we do plea bargaining, and one of the outcomes of a plea bargain may be an NPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement. Okay, so that means that when we sign the non-prosecution agreement, we usually would immunize that person, grant that person indemnity from prosecution on certain conditions, or sometimes unconditionally. Okay, so it is guided by some considerations in the context of the prosecution itself or the criminal justice system. And by the way, in Ghana we have the Plea Bargain Act, which is an amendment to Act 30 that allows the Attorney General to enter into a plea deal. And by the way, just by way of public information, I have never, okay, and I want to repeat that, I have never approached anybody who is under prosecution now or who will be prosecuted for a plea deal. I've seen on social media allegations that I charge someone and then subsequently I'm asking the person for a plea deal. I'm always in my office quietly and they send people to come to me and then seek audience as to whether I am amenable to a plea deal. All right, and until such a time that we achieve the plea deal, we normally don't announce it to the public. So that is what a bargain is, and then the NPA can be a result, that is the non-prosecution agreement can be the result of plea negotiations. The last question was with respect to what His Excellency the President said regarding the freezing of assets. What we froze were their bank accounts. All right? What we froze were their bank accounts. Okay? But they may have other assets such as houses, okay, apartment blocks, cars, and so on. Okay? Those are the subject matter of the investigation that is taking place now. And as I said in the first press conference, which was on the Kwabena Edubonhe investigation, I said we normally do contemporaneous investigation of the crime, the criminal enterprise, as well as the asset recovery. All right. So we are using the same approach now, but with this one it is slower because of the fact that if once we begin the prosecution, you will understand that they were doing mostly cash transactions. Okay, someone will go and take the cash from the bank and then go and give it to one of the directors or one of the staff, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, so unlike the previous investigation where the documentary trail was very easy and then led us to certain assets that the person owned, because some of them were owned by his companies and so on. In this case, it is a bit different. That is why we have frozen the financial assets, that is the accounts, but we are still doing the investigation with respect to houses, cars, and so on. I hope that makes it very clear for the person who wanted to know the difference between what His Excellency said and then what I said in my press briefing. Thank you.
Yeah, so if there are any, please come forward. If there are any other questions, we will take them in this round, after which we will draw down the curtains on this session. So please identify yourself and ask your question.
My name is Clement from the 4th Estate.
Please.
Clement Edward Kumsa from the 4th Estate. The team want to find out, during our investigations, management said it's only Ghana card that can be used to validate a national service personnel on their platform. It appears the platform was easily manipulated and the ghost names were uploaded. We want to find out, in your prosecution, are those the developers of the platform parts or those you are prosecuting?
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions, please? Okay.
My name is Benis Bese. I report for the Chronicle, and I'm also a court reporter. We've seen the Dr. Opuni prosecution, how it went. It took almost 7 years. What is the timeline for this prosecution? Are we going to see it traveling or going on the long haul like 7 years, or the 4 years to go by when this prosecution has not ended? Because we've heard something that they are going to frustrate the case.
All right, thank you. Please pass it on to the next questioner.
My name is Vanessa Edotumbuating.
Please come forward. Step forward. Yeah.
My name is Vanessa Edotumbuating. I'm with Ignite Media Metro TV. So my question is, this is a lot of money, over 548 million. Are we going to recover all these monies? And it wouldn't just be that people are prosecuted, probably they go to jail, and that's it, because it's a lot of money and it can do a lot of things for the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that will be it for the questions in this round, which is the final round, I must indicate. Honorable Attorney General, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the questions. The first one relates to the IT system and its vulnerability to manipulation. You are right about the fact that the IT system, from all that we have gathered, has been very, vulnerable and has been manipulated to foster the criminal enterprise that I am describing today. Now, the question whether the IT, the developer will be prosecuted is, for me, it's not a question that we should be asking. The reason is simply because it's a contractual, issue. Okay, so they have developed a system. If there are vulnerabilities in the system, or it is deficient and is not fit for purpose, that's a contractual issue, and we can take that up and then sue them because the system was not fit for purpose. Now, if in the course of that we discover, for instance, that they deliberately set it up to be manipulated in this manner, then we can say that they are accomplices. Okay, but in the current circumstances, the IT management personnel who were the ones who manipulated the system for purposes of fostering the criminal enterprise are the ones that we are concentrating on now. Then the timeline for prosecution. Well, I have my prosecutorial plan laid out, okay, and I'm keenly aware of what defense lawyers can do. Okay, I was for many years a defense lawyer myself, so I know their tricks. All right, if you remember the famous Tagore case, I was the one who freed Tagore together with Kisi Ajabing from prison. So I know what to look for, what defense lawyers look for in any prosecution. If you picked up, thank you for the intelligence that you have picked up, that they say that they and their lawyers will frustrate me. I have plans in place to avoid frustration. Okay? I know what I am doing, and together with my able deputy, we will make sure that the people of this country, because if they frustrate me, they are frustrating the people of this country. And as one of the questioners, said, 548 million is a lot of money. In fact, the president is thinking of a Accra-Kumasi expressway that will make it possible for commuters to travel within an hour to Kumasi. That 548 million, in my estimation, could have built that expressway. So yes, it is a lot of money, and that is why we are going to take the prosecution really very seriously. Look, if you have had 8 million Ghana cedis lodged into your account from public funds, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor, how are you going to do that? Supposing he didn't know, that's a different matter altogether. Or if you have your companies and public monies are flowing through your companies, and you cannot tell the prosecutor why those monies were being transferred to your company and they were being used for private purposes, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor, well, they should come with all the technicalities in the world. We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them in the courtroom. This is going to be a different ball game altogether. I'm not bragging, but it's going to be a different ball game altogether. So we will do our best, and thereafter, as for recovery, is an integral part of our strategy. Recovery is an integral part of our strategy. All right. The meaning of oral is Operation Recover or Loot. And so once we institute a prosecution in the context of oral, recovery is an integral part of it. We are not going to, leave any stone unturned. Can we recover everything? We may not be able to recover everything, but we will certainly recover funds for this republic and for public use. So I thank you very much. God bless all of you, and see you at the next press briefing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So you heard there the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayini, there talking about the National Service Secretariat scandal that we're told that some ghost names were discovered, totaling a loss of over 548 million Ghana cedis. And you heard him outline measures and the people involved and how he intends to get justice for Mother Ghana. But while the Attorney General is also working on that, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has suspended the nationwide strike and directed all nurses and midwives to resume normal shift duties from Saturday, June 14, 2025. The strike, which had many health facilities crippled, began on June 2, but leaders of the association held engagements with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and other interested parties on June 12 and described the discussions as very fruitful. Now, here is President of the association, Perpetual Ofori Ampofo, announcing the suspension.
Held with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and other interested parties on Thursday, 12 June 2025, was very fruitful and has paved the way for an amicable resolution of the impasse with our employer concerning the implementation of our collective agreements. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association's industrial action initiated on 2nd June 2025 is hereby suspended, pending the outcome of the follow-up meeting scheduled for 26 June 2025. We call on our dear nurses and midwives to resume their normal shift duties from Saturday, 14th June 2025. And we wish to assure you that we will not rest on our oars until the collective agreement is fully implemented.
Right, so that's the announcement from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. So from tomorrow, they're resuming work at the various health facilities. Well, the Ghana Health Service will also, from the 16th to the 30th of June, embark on a nationwide exercise to assess immunization coverage among children under 5. 160 data collectors have been trained for the 2-week exercise to verify administrative data, identify coverage gaps, and also document reasons for non-vaccination. About 1.3 million children under 5 are estimated to be captured in the exercise.
Survey by the expanded program on immunization under the Ghana Health Service will provide reliable immunization performance to help identify under-vaccinated populations and support efforts to improve delivery and disease prevention in the country. An estimated 1.3 million children under 5 years are to be captured in the 2 weeks exercise.
What we want to know is whether the figures we are getting from our administrative data, which is what we go and pick when we go to the field to immunize the children, actually reflects us on the ground. Because we know sometimes some children may live in a community and go and vaccinate in another community or another district. So you have two adjoining districts. One district has maybe has coverage of about 150%. the next district is having 40%, and probably because district A has, let's say, health facilities, and district B doesn't have. So if you look at it on the surface, it will mean district B is not doing well. But what we want to go and assess is that we are going to enter both districts and find the children and find out if you've taken the vaccine or not. Then we can actually assess whether the children we are vaccinating are everywhere as we think. So in the end, District B may end up having all the children vaccinated, but it's because of the population issues. That is why they are looking like God, because of other structural issues, like, for instance, health facilities, health workers, things like that.
160 trained data collectors, 40 supervisors with identification tags will be conducting the exercise with support from the Ghana Statistical Service. The exercise is to help in planning and identifying areas with low coverages.
Conducting today is the last day, 3-day training session to ensure that, again, we remind ourselves, though we know already, of what is expected of us exactly. On the field, we are deploying about 160 data collectors. In addition to their supervisors, we will be about 200 on the field, just to ensure that every corner in this country is actually well covered. And we are providing adequate or ample time with a period of 2 weeks to ensure that we have enough time to be able to reach all those we are expected to reach. We envisage that there will be the need for some multiple visits to be able to get our people. We'll give them enough time. So the data we'll get, we are very sure that, okay, this is what it is.
Well, away from health, the New Patriotic Party in Damongo has issued a 2-week ultimatum to the Ghana Water Limited and the government to operationalize the Broto Water Project. The over 17 million cedi water project was completed before the 2024 elections, yet taps remain dry in the township. The group is also calling for the immediate use of a newly built market and is accusing the NDC of political sabotage.
At a press conference held in Damongo, tensions rose as NPP constituency executives, backed by concerned citizens, gave authorities a 2-week ultimatum to restore water to the township. Their frustration stems from the non-operationalized Damongo Alternative Water Supply System, popularly called the Broto Water Project. The over 17 million cedis facility, funded by Exim Bank, was completed in December 2024, but remains non-operational, while people continue to suffer from chronic water shortages.
We cannot ignore the continued suffering of our people who are in desperate need of a reliable water supply. The people of Damongo need the water now.
The group accuses the managing director of the Ghana Water Limited and former NDC MP, Adams Mutawakilu, of deliberately stalling the project due to political bias.
We urge the Ghana Water Company under the leadership of Honorable Gallus to put the partisan politics aside and act in the best interest of the good people of Damongo.
The NPP further criticized delays in the use of the newly constructed Damongo markets, citing rising accidents caused by congestion on the township's main street every Saturday. The NPP is demanding swift action on both the water and market projects, warning of public protest should their ultimatum expire without results.
You're still watching news from here on GHOne television. Let's bring you the latest in the world of The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has endorsed Ghana's energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy, describing it as a new measure which will help generate additional revenue. Speaking at a press briefing, Director of Communications Department of the IMF, Julie Kozak, responded to a question from EIB Network reporter Emmanuel Ejabing regarding the 1 cedi levy on petroleum products. She stated that the levy would support Ghana's ability to meet its fiscal objectives under the Extended Credit Facility Program.
What I can say is that this is a new measure that will help generate additional resources to tackle the challenges in Ghana's energy sector, and it's also going to bolster Ghana's ability to deliver on the fiscal objectives under the program.
Well, still on the IMF, the Director of Communications, Julie Kozak, announced that the IMF Executive Board is expected to meet in the first week of July 2025. She explained that upon Executive Board approval, Ghana would be scheduled to receive approximately $370 million, bringing total disbursements under the ECF to $2.4 billion since May 2023.
15th, the IMF staff and the Ghanaian authorities reached staff-level agreement on the fourth review of Ghana's extended credit facility. Upon approval by our executive board, Ghana would be scheduled to receive about $370 million, bringing total support under the ECF to $2.4 billion since May of 2023. We anticipate bringing review to our board in early July, so in just a few weeks.
Let's now bring you the latest in the world of sports.
Here on Sports Brief, I am Monica Bukari. Now, the Ghana Football Association has announced that Desmond Ofer will step down as head coach of Black Satellites after upcoming WAFU Zone A and B tournaments, which Ghana is scheduled to host. The tournament, originally set for June, has been postponed with a new date yet to be confirmed. The decision is part of a series of technical reassignments within the national teams aimed at improving focus and performance. Desmond Ofer will now concentrate on his duties as assistant coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars. Under his leadership, the Black Satellites won gold at the 2024 African Games and finished second at the WAFU Zone B Championship, earning qualification to the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. However, the team missed out on a place at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup after failing to reach the semi-finals at the Continental Tournament in Egypt. Now, on the international front, Real Madrid latest signing Trent Alexander-Arnold says his dream come true for him to join his favorite team. He, however, says leaving Liverpool to join the White Angels was something he knew will happen any day when he decided to leave the Anfield.
I mean, to be honest, you said at the end where to go. It was never a question of where. It was whether to go or not to go. I always knew for me, I think I've probably known it for a long time, is that if I was to ever leave Liverpool, it would only be to go to Real Madrid. That would be the only club for me. And then, it gets to a point where you've got to make a decision whether to go or to stay. And you know, at making that decision. You know, it wasn't an easy decision. I'm not going to say it was easy.
And that's all for sports, but do join us at 1 p.m. on The Game for more sports. My name is Monica Bukhari. Back to you, Joshua.
Many thanks. Let's now check out what is happening on the foreign front. And after wide-ranging strikes on the country's nuclear program and military leadership, killing the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and striking dozens of targets in an operation that pushes the region into a new conflict with uncertain consequences. 200 jet fighters wrapped up the first wave of the attack. And now, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Israel should expect severe punishment for the attacks. Well, that's all in this package of the bulletin. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. Good afternoon.